Hello guys, welcome back to Learn to Explain. This is the class of high school geometry, and today we will introduce a brand new chapter. The last chapter of this class will be trigonometry. So let's start. Finally, chapter 11, last chapter of this class, and it is Introduction to Trigonometry. In this chapter, we will start exploring the basics of trigonometry. Okay, chapter 11, Introduction to Trigonometry, and lecture 34, Basic Concepts. Our objectives for this lecture will be to define the hypotenuse, adjacent side, and opposite side of a triangle, and use Pythagorean theorem to calculate the missing side of a triangle. Okay, so let's start with this. The first thing we need to know is that trigonometry is the part of mathematics, or in this case, geometry as well, that studies the relationship between the side length and the angles of a triangle. Okay, so let's write that down. Trigonometry Okay, so as that definition says, we are going to work with triangles only. Okay, so let's start. Let's see first the basic concepts of trigonometry. And on your right here, we have a right triangle. How do we know it's a right triangle? Because it has a right angle. And we are going to study the parts of this right triangle. Okay, as we mentioned before, the longest side of a right triangle and also the side opposite to the right angle is called hypotenuse. We already mentioned this when we introduced the Pythagorean theorem, but it's good to refresh that concept. Okay, so the hypotenuse is okay, again, the longest side of the right triangle, and it is opposite to the 90-degree angle. Okay, now let's evaluate the triangle again, and we notice that we have an additional angle right here. This evaluation can either be from this angle or this angle. In this occasion, we're only going to use this angle right here called alpha. And from this angle, we are analyzing the adjacent side. Why is it called adjacent side? Because this is the side of this right triangle that touches the angle that we are evaluating, in this case, alpha. So adjacent side is the side of the triangle that touches, or it is, like the word says, adjacent to the angle alpha. Okay, so let's write that down. Okay, so from this same example, this same triangle with the alpha angle, we have now the opposite side, this one right here. So we have the angle right here, and the opposite side to this angle will be the angle that the side that this angle is facing. It will be this one, which we call the opposite side. Remember that for the hypotenuse is the opposite side to the right angle. Well, in this case, the opposite side to the alpha angle is side A. Okay, so let's write that down. Okay, so now we have the definition of all the sides in a right triangle. And it is important to mention that, remember, it is based on the angle being evaluated. For example, if we have a triangle that looks like this, where the right angle is located right here, and we want to evaluate this angle, let's call angle beta. In this triangle, the hypotenuse will be located right here, right? Because it is opposite to the 90-degree angle. The adjacent side will be the side that touches the angle that we are evaluating. The angle that we are evaluating is this one. Okay, so the adjacent side is the side that touches this angle, will be this one right here. And the opposite side will be the side that this angle is facing, which means the one opposite to it. So right here. Okay, so you notice that everything depends on the angle that we are evaluating. The 90-degree angle, of course, it will always be in one location because there is only one 90-degree angle in a right triangle. So the hypotenuse will always be the same, but the adjacent side and the opposite side could be changed depending on the angle that we are evaluating. If we evaluate this angle right here, let's call it alpha, then the adjacent side will be this one right here because it's touching this angle, and the opposite side then will be this one right here. Okay? So they will change depending on the angle that we are evaluating, but the hypotenuse will always be the same.